Welcome, high-performing founders, to this explainer. Today, we're diving into what I consider to be the most absolutely critical, yet most frequently ignored operational metric in your entire business: strategic restoration. If you're constantly pushing the red line, treating your own energy reserves as infinite while demanding peak performance day after day, well, you're in exactly the right place. Think of us as your strategic advisors today. We're going to diagnose a systemic failure in the standard high achiever operating model and lay out the architectural framework you absolutely need for your next chapter of growth.
Here's our roadmap for today. First, the earned recovery cycle. Second, the exhaustion tax. Third, the unfinished to-do list. Fourth, the intentional recharge protocol. And finally, securing your scalable launch. Let's jump right in.
All right, part one, the earned recovery cycle, a massive growth bottleneck.
There's this pervasive, almost contagious belief among us high performers. We kind of treat rest like it's a prize rather than routine maintenance. And honestly, it's a massive operational trap. We treat rest like this shiny achievement that can only be unlocked after finishing absolutely everything on our plate. But this flawed approach is a total illusion. It quietly drains your energy and guarantees that you stay exhausted. You're effectively making your basic human operating requirements conditional.
Look, rest is not laziness, it's maintenance. Think of it like running a high-performance server. You would never call scheduled server downtime for software updates lazy. I mean, if you did, your IT department would literally laugh you out of the building. It's non-negotiable operational maintenance, and you have to start treating your own biology with that exact same strategic respect.
Moving on to Section 2, the Exhaustion Tax, the silent performance killer.
We call this the Exhaustion Tax because deferring your recovery doesn't just make you tired. It quietly and measurably degrades your ability to make decisions, to be patient, and to follow through on complex strategies. You might think you're getting more done by just pushing through, but you're actually paying a massive, hidden tax on the quality of every single decision you make.
Here's the crucial difference. Burnout actively destroys your focus and consistency. You literally start showing up to your own business with resentment. But when you actively protect your energy, when you make it an active strategy rather than an afterthought, you can keep showing up day after day without burning out. You are protecting your absolute most valuable asset, your mind.
Which brings us to Section 3, the unfinished to-do list and the hard-coded pivot we need to make.
So ask yourself, do you only let yourself rest after everything is done? Our source material actually shares this micro-story, where the author lived exactly this way for years, just grinding away until the task board was completely clear before allowing a single breath of recovery. Sounds totally logical in theory, right? Work hard, finish the work, then rest. But in practice, what actually happens when you operate a growing business this way?
Well, here's the cold truth. Everything is never done. Work never truly ends. Tying your recovery to an empty inbox or a completed project board is a critical operational miscalculation, simply because that finish line does not exist. If you wait for the work to end before you recharge, you're never going to recharge. Realizing this isn't some failure of time management, it's a hard-coded pivot absolutely required for your business to survive.
Let's pivot to the solution in Section 4, the intentional recharge protocol, which is your new architectural brick. This quote right here is the absolute thesis of our explainer today. Rest is not a reward, it is a requirement. It's not a detour from your progress. It is the fundamental requirement that actually makes your progress sustainable over the long haul. Implementing this requires some very specific, tactical micro-actions. We're not talking about taking a month off. When you schedule brief pauses, your attention and mood instantly improve. When you step away without the guilt, your consistency skyrockets. And when you finally reframe rest as essential, the outcome is profound. You return to your work with absolute clarity instead of dragging resentment.
The data shows that when you do this, the results of intentional recharge are immediate. We're talking improved focus, increased patience, and steady energy. Rest stops feeling like this carrot dangling on a stick that you have to endlessly earn, and instead becomes the very mechanism keeping you steady. It's the definitive difference between burning out and achieving sustainable progress.
Finally, Section 5, securing your scalable launch, which is all about your next chapter.
Listen, you simply cannot build a scalable launch on a depleted foundation. A launch demands peak output. It requires intense energy to maintain. If you enter that high-demand season already paying the exhaustion tax, your launch isn't going to scale. It's going to crumble. You absolutely have to secure the foundation first.
So how do we systematically build this in? The answer is 365. If you need strategic help building rest into your life without the constant guilt so you can secure that inner fuel for your next chapter, looking into the 365 Freedom Protocol is the logical next step. It's about securing architectural support all 365 days of the year.
Here are your immediate directives as we wrap up. First, schedule one small rest moment today. Next, absolutely do not justify it or conditionally earn it. Genuinely allow yourself to recover. And finally, if you want help building this out so you can scale without burning out, check out the link provided in the source material at 365freedom.online for that long-term support.
I'll leave you with this. Will you keep quietly draining your energy and paying the exhaustion tax day after day? Or are you finally ready to restructure your foundation for true, sustainable progress? The choice is completely yours. But remember, the work is never truly done. Your recovery has to begin today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I look forward to seeing you scale with a solid foundation.